Hey everybody, welcome back to the FBE Podcast. This is episode 2. We are so pumped to have you here, and we're so pumped to have our guests, which we're going to get to in a minute. But first of all, I'm John. I'm a producer here at FBE. This is Benny. He's one of the founders. That's Raf, one of the other founders. And then Tom, our special guest this week.
The
Tom,
third founder.
You may recognize. You may recognize Tom from previously Teens React and Adults React, and also our social networks, which we'll get to in a second, because a lot of you have noticed Tom popping up more. So I don't know if we want to explain Tom to the good people.
Well, how many years, Tom? How many years has it been?
Good God. I don't know. It's probably been like 4 or 5 years, because I think I started when I was 17 and I'm about to turn 22. So what is that? That's 5 years.
Which everybody says, or you even said it yourself, a fetus Tom, when you had to see yourself.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. Looking back at it, I was such a little cringy 17-year-old baby.
Oh no.
Half a decade together, Tom.
That's weird. That's weird to think about.
Yep. I know those first times of us, how many episodes into Teens React?
It was Gangnam Style was your first, so it was pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was still when Benny and I were in the rooms for many years with you together.
Yeah.
Fetus Fine Brothers.
Fetus
Almost.
Fines.
You've been interviewed by me dozens and dozens of times.
Oh
So
my
what's Tom's role here now? Because a lot of people have noticed him popping up a lot on like our Instagram stories and Snapchat stories, and they're like, is he on the staff now? Like, does Tom work for you?
I'm a third founder. We just covered that.
We can move on.
So Tom is still a reactor, still on Adults React and College Kids React and all the React channel shows, and getting into technicalities of things when you have companies, which also allows us to actually answer the one of the most popular questions in the history of FBE in the process of this is, do reactors get paid?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
And the answer is yes, of course they get paid and have been paid for years, because if they're going to be here on the shows and giving us their time, everyone's going to be paid. But technically speaking, every single reactor is an employee of FBE.
Boring business speak.
Boring business stuff. Technically,
It's a lot of tax stuff.
but according to the government, they're all employees. Everyone is kind of staff. But recently, Tom, it was almost about 6 months ago now, I want to say, is kind of the beginning of a little bit of an experiment, also due to company need, that will not be the last, which is the way that it works is reactors come in usually for only an hour or 2 hours at a time. We end up asking randomly, hey, are you available? And if they are, they are. If they're not, they're not. That's why sometimes, where is somebody? Well, they weren't available because they have lives. But
and jobs and class.
Who needs any of those?
It's normal people. It's real people that just like they have their lives and they come in here and they're to like be on the show.
Yeah, it's not their full-time job.
right.
So in the interest of getting Tom in more content, but also trying to make more content, Tom has been here entire days, like full 8-hour work days, 3 days a week for the last 6 months, hence allowing us to do things that we wouldn't have been able to do without Tom here as part of the engagement team, like Chalice or Lively every week, and Musicallys that Tom, I love.
Oh gosh.
Busted. Probably one of my favorite things.
Some people may not even be aware there is a Musically,
Yeah.
but we have a Musically, and it puts out some really funny content.
But there's more even ideas around this of being able to make even more content that also speaks to, I think, a bit of what we've been talking about with engaging with the audience. And that's what some of these shows are looking to do and hope to do, is to be able to have people like Tom here more often that is a recognizable face for everybody that they want to see, and they could be here and do more content with
a way
you
to
guys.
show what's happening at the company more. So my curiosity, Tom, if you can share with us and with everybody, well, not with everybody. Let's the 5%.
The 5% that are.
And again, we know this podcast is not for everyone, and it's okay. But can you talk about what has that been like? Like, you still are reacting, you're still in the shows all the time, and you're in some new shows too, but you're kind of now seeing more of the day-to-day than you ever did before. Can you talk a little bit about what your expectations maybe were and like what you've learned kind of being here in a more employee-ish basis?
It was really weird. Like starting immediately, it was like really awkward and weird because everyone knew me and I didn't know anyone. Like, there's so many editors that were like, "Oh, hey Tom," and I'm like, hi, you? And I was like, have we met before? And I'm like, no.
They know you so intricately well from spending so many hours editing your face.
Me. I'm like, you must be sick of my voice. Why are you trying to talk to me right now? No, but it's been really awesome. Everyone's been super kind and nice.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When your first day when you were here for like an 8-hour shift, after like 2 hours, did you just like out of habit just go to the parking lot and like get in your car? You're like, oh, I must be done here because they never let me stay in this office for more than 12 hours or 2 hours.
Hi guys. I remember I was so scared because we have like, you guys have like a full break room with like all food and stuff like that. And I was like, is that for us? And I was so nervous. I was like, I didn't want to touch anything. And I was just like, no. But now like I'm used to it. It's like, it's second nature. That's like where I go to.
And
but it's like,
I think the hope is to have more reactors have a greater presence on our social networks and podcasts and everything.
It's been really cool, especially like actually because during Challenge Chalice, me and Alex are always like responding to comments and stuff like that. And it's really cool to actually like, you have that behind the scenes where I can actually talk to like the fans like one-on-one, and we're like recognizing like certain people that keep coming back, and we're like, oh, we have like running jokes with certain like fans and stuff like that.
And that's going to happen on this podcast because there's only this small percentage of the fans.
So here's the great thing
like
about this. Here's the great thing about this podcast, which Benny mentioned, and I think a lot of you that maybe saw the first episode experienced this. Because this is a super long, kind of like behind the scenes production podcast with maybe one reactor, maybe not even a reactor on it. We know that this is not going to be a show for the vast majority of the audience, especially on the FBE channel.
Billions of views.
There is what we've deemed, we think there's a 5% chance that 5% of the audience may be interested in something like this. And that means that it is a community that we can actually talk to and we can actually answer questions about. And if you saw the first episode on YouTube, there's a good chance if you left a comment, I replied to you directly.
I saw that. It was great.
So this is like the first time, not the first time, but a great way to really engage and talk back and tell us what you want to hear, what you want us to talk about. We've got so many questions that have come in from you, and we're reading all of your comments on all the videos that we release throughout the week. And so it's,
So, and even to clarify even more specifically, no, that's not 5% of the 17 million subscribers and 7 million, 15 million.
Either way, I know
it's
15 million on FBE.
It's not 5% of
7 million
million.
on our on the React channel. That it's 5% of like the million people that we think for the most part love to watch the shows on an ongoing basis every week. And genuinely and heartfelt, like the people that watched the first podcast and left comments and are engaging
really were
with
blown
us.
away.
Thank you so much.
Especially those of you that used the silly "so you think you can dance" hashtag.
It wasn't silly.
It was
S Y T Y C D.
It honestly, I was replying a lot that it was making my day and making my morning or whatever time of day it was when I was replying to comments, because that meant that person more than likely sat through the full hour and actually enjoyed it enough to then log in and leave a comment, and it was incredible. It was a great. Yes.
Yeah, even at the company meeting, like the entire company is just really excited to be in a place where it's talking with you all more directly, and that you guys that were coming out to watch the podcast and listen to it, actually cared enough to join us.
We have company meetings Monday mornings. Sometimes on Snapchat, you'll see bits and pieces of it. A lot of times I've thought about like, can we just record the company meeting and put it up on social? Because I think it's somewhat interesting, but I don't know. But bottom line, Tom's been here part-time for a while, but is still a reactor. More are probably coming behind it. And a lot of that is, and I think a lot of you even seeing a lot of the comments that were like even asking for reactors to be on the podcast, we're aware of just how much you love these amazing people that we get to know and get to work with for so long.
We feel so lucky
that
to
by
get to know
having
them.
Tom here more frequently and others in the future more frequently, it allows to give you that access to the people that we know you're looking for that we wouldn't be able to do just in the normal run of bringing them in just to film the show.
Are you saying people aren't tuning in for Benny and
No.
John? Oh, okay. No. Well, you did mention like some of the feedback that came from the first podcast, and I just wanted to touch on we joked a lot about the algorithm hour. So many people in the comments, and it was funny because MatPat had ended up releasing an algorithm
That day.
like a theory
Really?
episode that day. But
No
people were
way.
so excited about the possibility of an algorithm hour. So who knows?
Maybe he could be a guest and that will be what we talk about on this show. Because I doubt that I would actually be able to do that on an ongoing basis.
No, it would probably be a one-off. We probably
Yeah.
can't make it a series, but man, it was really cool to see that excitement because we were really excited while we were oh my God. We were so excited while we were recording, but then to see the fans being like, yes, stop joking about that, make that podcast happen. Also, the Disney podcast got a
Oh
lot
my
of traction
God.
with the
Swoozy
people that were
Benny.
leaving
Really?
comments.
Swoozy
Yes.
Okay, so I can relay that to Swoozy because I talked to him about this for like the last year, off and on. Anytime I see him, I'm like, podcast, and he's like, I'll show up if there's a podcast. So
Here was my idea.
You
'Cause
tease.
we have
Hey,
this,
there's a podcast
but
right here.
schedules get crazy, and so there could be episodes when we just can't figure out the podcast that week. So I was thinking when we know those weeks are coming, maybe we have like shorter story time podcasts that maybe it is like the Swoozy Benny because that's more evergreen. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily
We'll see.
have to play. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to stay consistent, even though this is only second episode. But come on, 2 episodes back to back.
Hey.
Doing pretty good. But yeah, I was reading so many of those comments and I was so excited to see a lot of people responding to what I was also excited about. Anyway, to the questions that have come in so far.
this is people that use hashtag FBE Podcast.
Yes.
Wow.
Not
So it's
Thanks-
happening.
Thanks for that plug.
I know it wasn't
Benny.
the so you think you could dance.
No, no.
Hashtag no.
Why?
Well, we're trying to figure out like the shout out system because we didn't want to shout people out that use the quote unquote secret hashtag. But if you just have a question you want to send us, hashtag FBE Podcast.
So this is
Twitter,
like what people
anywhere.
are like wanting us to talk
Just
about.
general
more.
questions like, hey, you're actually doing behind the scenes now? Answer this.
Let's do it.
Okay, from Kaylin OPG over on YouTube. How often, I guess this is more for Benny and Roth, but Tom can speak to it maybe from the reactor perspective.
Hop in.
How often do you guys get a response or reaction from reactors that you aren't at all expecting what they're going to say? So like, how often are you surprised by, you can't believe?
You know, I'd say for the most part, there is the thought of like what has gone into the show or is what been thought of like why is something going to be an interesting topic is we end up thinking about what could be all the different perspectives that come to this topic. And if it seems like it's all going to be just the same exact thing, it isn't necessarily as interesting. So we tend to think about all the different
Even
possibilities.
somewhat based on the cast that we have and knowing who we know.
Yeah, and I think the excitement comes from being like almost, yeah, that we were right. Or even the interesting thing of being like, whoa, interesting, that person we didn't expect that from, that they had that thought or they had that different perspective on it than we expected.
I think it's multifaceted. It's what you were just saying, where when we have our thoughts about what is interesting about this episode, and then reactors end up on their own completely saying that. That's always exciting, where
That's
it's like,
cool.
oh, this is what we thought was interesting, and look, multiple reactors are thinking this exact way, and some are thinking this other way, and that's great. On the flip side, it happens all the time with all generations when it comes to, they make me think differently about something. Like they might have an opinion that I was expecting to get in that episode, but then as they talk about why, that's where some of the most fascinating stuff comes, where they make me think, oh, I didn't think about that angle on something. A good example of that is Vera and Elders React.
I was literally going to use the same example.
It was the
We're brothers.
It was the Elders React to PewDiePie episode. And when we were, this is the first time we had exposed the elders, who now completely are gamers on YouTube themselves, so it's different now. But this was earlier on, where we were trying to break down for them, yes, people enjoy watching other people play video games, and the natural response that a lot of people have in general life is, why not just play yourself? And I don't understand this. And Vera gave an analogy that I now use for everyone that doesn't understand this, which is, I believe she said something along the lines of, well, I really like watching basketball, but I don't think it's weird that we're not playing basketball. It's the same thing as watching sports. And it's very, very true. And it's like, what a great way of explaining it. Do you
You're not playing yourself, so
Yeah.
why do you watch basketball?
And then, of course, the kids. The kids, because they're kids, surprise us every single episode. Whether it's something that was a non sequitur that I don't even understand why they said it, or just, wow, that they are at the age that they are and they can actually think critically in a different way, which is kind of what Kids React's all about.
Hey, Benny, would you mind leaning into your mic a little more when you're talking? Because a lot of the other comments that came on the first episode of
Was
the
how bad I
podcast
sounded?
was how bad some of us sounded in our mics.
So Tom,
Yeah.
did you ever have a situation where Benny or one of the producers in the room made you think differently about something where you're like, ooh, my perspective? Because those moments are always interesting where all of a sudden you have that moment where it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, I didn't think about it that way.
I can't think of episodes like specifically off the top of my head, but I remember because you guys have like a list of questions that you're like ready to ask. And I think going in, watching one episode, I'm obviously going to have one perspective. And it's weird when like someone actually asks that question and you start thinking, you're like, wait, why do I think this way? It's almost like an internal like battle. I was like, why am I programmed to think this way? I've had like moments like that where it's like questioning why I see a topic a certain way. But it is
what the show is.
yeah, it's weird.
No,
It's-
that's actually really cool that you put it that way, that you go through it like that, because that is what the hope for everybody watching kind of is. So everybody's kind of going through that in a way.
So
Yeah.
what is that like? I mean, would you say that in doing half a decade of having
Oh,
your
God.
opinions challenged by people
Yeah.
does that make you think differently generally, or only still when it's in the confines of the reality?
No, I think I take a little bit like with me out into the world. I think I look at a lot of topics critically now, where I think about different topics, where it's like someone would be like, oh, that trend's stupid, and I'll be like, well, this is where it comes from, so I could see that perspective. And it's like,
Oh, that makes me feel so good, Tom.
That's great. That's what we hope from the audience too.
Okay.
They get so angry about things.
I know I'm not really plugged into the creative producing side of and picking the topic and stuff like that, but I do know what Raf just said is a very important part of that approval is we do not necessarily want a one-sided
a cookie cutter.
episode of like cookie cutter, just rubber stamp what we already potentially like think, and we just want one.
I feel like it's going to come up a lot
What?
through doing this podcast where people have various questions about the show. The reality of how not interesting and not compelling the show would be if everybody had the same opinion. Yet most of the comments that are anti the show are always angry about someone not having the opinion that they have. But the whole point of the show is to show different opinions. So it's an interesting relationship.
It's like a positive thing to have different opinions, but it also is a very like
Polarizing.
volatile-
Yeah, no,
polarizing
it's-
I also
experience.
don't.
Exactly.
I also wonder if those people don't realize, even though they're leaving that comment being mad about that person not having the opinion, of how interested potentially they are in the show, like almost
Because of
leaving
that.
that comment because there's
Okay,
that.
that was a really great
Whoa.
question. It's gonna take. We could talk about it forever. Let's move on to the next one.
know.
Okay. Are
Dang.
there? This came from Jorit the Fighter, also
Oh
on
God,
YouTube.
here we go again with the murdering of people's
Butchering.
names.
Again, I didn't. Maybe
Okay,
in the
just-
next one.
it's okay. It's okay.
Well, you're just gonna light into me. I'm gonna come back. Anyway, have there been any shows that you guys have talked about but didn't necessarily get like onto the channel or couldn't figure out? Is there anything that comes to mind in terms of like we wish we could have done that?
I
but
feel
we
like
couldn't actually figure-
if there is one, I feel like we're still planning to hopefully do
Well,
it.
is there anything that we're planning to do right now that we've been holding off trying? Because I know that
What about
for,
something we fully killed? Like, is there something that
we don't really do that at the
We-
company.
we don't
That's
kill.
not- That's not something that we fully kill. I mean, I know that for a long time, and we've only have done it once, and we want to do it so many more. And it came up last podcast too. Like forever, we talked about the idea of kids reactors with their parents on the show, and then we finally did that. And it took a long time to get to do that. I mean.
That's
know.
my thing. I mean, there are literally like 100 and something ideas right now, whether it's being something that still we're wanting to do on the shows, like that the producers are desperately wanting to do, that we personally also want to do. And then literally separately, there's original shows. Literally, like right now, there's literally around, I'd say 50 different shows that we have at least a one sheet for that we
But
want
a
to
lot
be
of them aren't
doing.
sustainable to make just internally at the company.
I would say
Yeah.
that's more along the lines
I don't-
of it's a lot of ideas, but most of them require like a
But
lot of money
budgets,
or
yeah.
a lot of time,
Yeah.
and so we have to wait for like a sponsor potentially, or just like time to free up.
Well, that's why we're trying. That's why we make shows like on Full Screen and YouTube Red, as controversial as those can be. Are you going to segue?
Can I tra-
Oh,
can I
we're gonna segue?
segue?
Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
Segue.
I do
sorry.
want to, like, that's a good point of just like, there are certain things that make sense for what we're able to produce for YouTube.
And it's AdSense revenue.
Yeah,
and
the
all that.
budget that can come from it is based off of the amount of money that you can make off of the views. So it becomes very specific of what types of things you can make. And so we're having to continually find the ways. That's why things happen that we make for TV. That's why we have stuff that happened on full screen. But that might even be in other places too, because even some like quote unquote smaller budgeted like shows and smaller shows that aren't just TV size, also those don't end up making sense for being able to do on YouTube, because all you do is lose money when you make them. And it's unfortunate, but we're hoping to continue to make a lot of different stuff and find homes for them.
And we tried to describe that, or at least explain it in the description of things like Celebs React when we put out the little clips on our channel with like, hey guys, like this is the reason we have to do this over here on full screen. Like this is a mammoth show that takes so much money and time and resources.
Which is always a hope that with more shows that we make, and if there's more support of those shows and the view counts go higher, we can then be in a place where we could justify losing the money to occasionally make like our reverse rating show, like R-rated Frozen, that we just lost thousands of dollars making because it took us almost a year to finish that thing. But it becomes here and there we can have fun with something or decide to put a little more in hopes that it becomes sustainable. But so far, harder and harder on YouTube to be sustainable on those types of things.
And a lot of times when you see your favorite creators doing those bigger things, it's with a partner like Full Screen or YouTube Red or something. It's another kind of sponsor, somebody actually coming in and financing that thing because they
whether it's
self-finance off of AdSense.
Right, whether it's a company or it's also a brand. It could actually just be a sponsor that is a brand, a clothing brand, a food brand, etc.
And those brands were off without the brands, and it's not just for us, this is every online creator with the way things are. Without supporting those episodes, we would not be able to make as much content that we even produce here. Even though we're able to make all of this kind of in a certain way that we do and become sustainable, it only is sustainable because of supplementation with brand deals.
Okay, so we got another question from Puppy Waffle that I think is
What?
also on
What?
YouTube.
It's a beautiful name. I'm sorry. That was amazing. Because it's awesome. I wish I thought of that. I like puppies and waffles.
I mean,
Not going to eat it. I
it's
like
a
the
pretty great
name.
name. Puppy Waffle on YouTube. Tom, they want to know, how do you guys do Challenge Chalice?
Oh, Chalice. How do we do it? You got
He said it right next to me.
What do you mean? How do we do
How do
it?
you
Or
do
like,
it?
how do we do it?
Is there a button? You come in the morning, you press a button that says Challenge
and then
Chalice,
it's,
and then they
done.
upload the video?
It's as easy
Real quick,
as that.
if people who are listening to this don't watch Challenge Chalice, every
Yeah.
Wednesday on the React channel, Tom hosts a show with reactors and special guests where they do some type of fun challenge video. So that's like what Challenge Chalice is. So what's the process?
Yeah, so the process, Alex, he's another producer here. He's the one that kind of like heads the producing. And anything he really needs help with, I can like help out, stuff like that. But nothing about the actual challenges. The challenges are like his whole thing. He scrolls through tons and tons of comments.
Because he wants to surprise you.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly. It's like
you don't know going into
I
the
don't
thing
know
what you're
anything.
about to do.
Like he doesn't let me help like prep any of the challenges or anything like that. Like that's all him. He keeps it so secretive. Like I'll be walking down the hallway and I'll literally see doors slam and like people are like shh, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're doing challenge stuff like. Or they just hate me, either one. But he like goes through the comments. He gets like a bunch of comments that people are sending in. Then he preps for 3 of them. We have 3 in the Chalice, and then usually it's one of the guests that we have on there. We bring reactors and YouTubers and stuff like that. They choose one of the challenges, and then we just do it no matter what. And now they're doing like punishments too, so people can actually send in their punishments.
How long does it actually take to film it? Yeah.
Yeah, so to film an episode, it usually takes right around an hour. Doing like the intro, the actual challenge, Alex like prepping it and stuff like that. It's like a food challenge. You have to heat it up or like do whatever you got to do. But it's like he has to prep 3 challenges for every show too, because it's like, oh, you don't know what you're gonna get in the Chalice. So it's like super fun. It's incredible.
What is the, okay, 2-side question.
Okay.
Your favorite challenge that you got to do, and then the one that you are really upset happened to you.
Oh my god.
Or hoping that Alex
I know.
never picks in the future.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm starting to think Alex only picks challenges to torture me because
Oh, yes.
yeah, no, 100%.
Oh, definitely. He loves it. He gets off on it. I can tell. Like he really loves it.
So favorite challenge to do. I really, really enjoyed the first one we ever did, which was Eat It or Wear It with Eric and Tori, which is basically, if you guys don't know what the challenge is, it's like you have a bunch of like random food items we're gonna draw out of a bowl, and then you have to either choose to eat it or like get it dumped on top of you. And we just went completely nuts. Like the whole room it smelled of like mackerel and like clam juice. It was just nuts.
Didn't you get like all good things, or was that the smoothie
Oh,
challenge?
that happened on the smoothie challenge where yeah, there was a bunch of like crappy items
the
and stuff like
sour
that.
one was
No, that's a different one.
one.
Spicy.
We've done so many.
another one.
Let's stick to my question.
Okay.
Worst one.
The worst
that you had to do.
The worst one that I've ever had to do. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know what the worst
Have
one.
you
off the top of
mentally
my head.
blocked it? Are you still working through
Honestly,
it with your
it's all a
therapist?
blur. Like you shoot for an hour and then it's out, and then I go get a Tums because it messed up my stomach. I
At
would
least
say,
you didn't have to do the wasabi. You didn't have to
Oh,
eat
yeah.
that. That was rough on some people.
well, I'm trying to think of like the very worst one. I remember one that like really, really hurt. By the time this comes out, it'll have already came out. It's going to be the like spiciest fire noodle challenge. So it's like fire noodles, which are already insanely spicy. Like, okay, cool, that's a challenge enough. No, Alex is like, we need to get more spicy stuff. So he gets all like new hot sauces and stuff to dump all in it. It was rough. The next day, I don't even want to talk about the next day because it was bad.
We're switching over to Instagram now. Nikki Grajek, I think there was a little confused about Let's Plays. Now that Let's Plays are back, will you be sticking to one game until the end or alternating back and forth with different games? So what's the...
Yeah, so
the
the
release
idea is that there are 2 games a week. There's one that's a like one-off that we'll just be playing one time most likely and then not
Tuesdays.
continuing, and that's on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays, we have the Let's Play that currently the plan is to play it all the way through week after week until that one is done, and then we will not start another one until we're past it. There are some thoughts that maybe when we get excited about something or we get something done faster, if possible, which is so difficult to do, that we might then try to do an alternation maybe. But right now, like we're in the middle of Outlast 2.
Last two.
That will go all the way to completion currently.
At least in the current plan for the release schedule, that's what it's going to be. But to your point, because it's going to take a while to get through that, if something else really drops and we can pull it off, we might start alternating, but we think we want to try to play it all the way through.
Honestly, we wish we could be doing like 20 of them all at the same time,
I agree.
but we can't.
Switching over to Twitter, just because I know we wanted to get into some thoughts from just conversations we've noticed from the actual uploads this week. But this is the last one we'll pull for the podcast question section. Anna, who's also goes by Sunderlund on Twitter.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of
How he pronounced
there's
it.
a lot of
Try not to laugh at people's names who are
I
fans.
suck at that challenge too. This is
Look,
not
I
the best.
also potentially comically mispronounced it, so I also don't fault Tom. But she was wondering, we partially answered this in the first last week, but what are Benny and Rafi doing now? I don't see them very often. So I can speak for part of this. Well, they're doing the podcast. The podcast takes a lot of time. It's at least 20 hours of prep and pre-production before we film each week. No, they're trying to run the company. We have almost 60 people here now, and we're putting out, like we thought, 12 to 14 videos every week, and none of these are vlogs. There's a lot of work that goes into and that is just the digital side of the business. That's not to speak of like the features we're trying to work on, the pilots we're trying to pitch, all the development stuff we're doing with the TV side of the business, and Brandy, who's our unscripted lead. There is so much, like any small business, regardless of your size, even if you're a small business and you're just yourself, like that person can tell you how much work goes into that kind of business. Now that we have the space that we're in and the staff that we have now, it's just people going into their office constantly. Like before you guys even had an assistant, like you were your own assistant and everything else. It's pretty ridiculous what they're.
Thanks for answering the question.
I know about
for
you
us.
guys. Yeah.
But yeah, generally it's the continued idea that we strive in a lot of ways to see like what the company, can continue to do and how we can make more content for everybody watching. And so there's a lot of like that of bringing in these amazing people, producers and editors and production assistants and assistant editors and everybody across the company. And then even building out the rest of the company from like an HR perspective and an IT perspective and all these different things of like trying to make it a good place to work and a fun place to work. And so a lot of it has been over the last, I'd say like year or two, it's been a lot of passing off and trying to figure out how do we help these people to make all these shows for us. And we're still very much involved as from like a executive producer and like showrunner level, like in a television model, over these things to continue to help to shape what it becomes and help them to continue those shows while trying to figure out how we're going to now make a lot more stuff for everybody that's out there. And like, that's the thing too.
And
is that-
ambitions to grow. Like we talk a lot of like, it was not an easy road getting to this point, especially starting as early as us and a lot of our peers that have been around as long as we have been. And there's a lot of, we've been very delegitimized over the years, and people think that like if you come from YouTube, there's all these problems and you're not professional. So we strive to not just, we could just status quo it and just kind of make a few videos a week and have a nice small business, but we wouldn't be able to employ as many people, and we want to be able to give people jobs that they're excited about and be able to give more people work. We want other YouTubers to be able to see what us and other companies like ours have built, to have aspirations to do that too, because they're not necessarily going to be able to.
People are probably going to tell them that it's not possible, and like we're trying to be like, no, it is. And YouTubers React especially, and places like VidCon, we have these conversations where we're trying to be like, you can do it. You can do whatever you put your mind to. It's possible. Look what we've been able to do.
So a lot of us having to do things that I don't even love, that like we're not able to be in the rooms anymore interviewing all the reactors.
It used to be that like it was like our I forget if we told you this, but
it was like our only time to have friends.
Yeah, it was like our time to actually like hang out with people because we're so busy every day, and it was our time to like get to see people that were like our friends. Aww. And then no, we got rid of that for ourselves.
So a lot of people feel like, oh, it's you've left or whatever. Having to do that is because by us pulling ourselves out, we were limiting the growth. We were limiting the company, because if we had to be in every single room for every single show, we can barely make any shows because it's only going to be a product of two people's time versus being able to hire talented people that can learn the shows from us and then be able to make all this content you're now seeing and have a React channel and have all of this stuff, because it was just so limiting. So now it's really great. The occasional times I get to jump in, just Sunday, because one of our producers, I don't know if it's going to come up or not later, but one of our producers for Kids React, Teens React, etc., just had a baby. Kyle just had a baby, which is super exciting. But because of that, we're a little shorthanded on that show. So when we have to break someone for lunch, I was the lunch breaker. So Ray and Becca got to be interviewed by me, and I had a great time doing it.
That's cool.
Yeah, we miss it.
Although we'll have to ADR you out of that episode so that there's consistency.
You'll never know I was there. You'll never know, but I was there.
Do we have any episode like highlights that we want to talk about, Raf? Because I know.
So in the spirit of us trying to continue to figure out what do you guys maybe want us to do in this podcast, one of the thoughts was like, okay, we have all these episodes come out, and there's various interesting conversation happening inside of the audience overall. And there's some like insights there that maybe you guys are interested in of what we're thinking on our side and what we kind of saw from that. And
that we're reading the comments and we're seeing what people are talking about.
So let us know if you like this, guys.
If you don't like this, it can go.
Hashtag FBE Podcast. Tell Rafi this is a dumb segment. And or that it's a great segment.
Rafi. Tell Rafi.
Oh, Jesus.
Hashtag Raf.
So one was Despacito, which was like really great. And was one of these episodes where it's like, oh, okay, sometimes there's like a top hit, and it's just like there's not really much to discuss about it, even though everybody still asks us to do it.
Yeah.
But this episode had a lot of layers to it.
And it exploded in terms of even views. It like way overperformed from normal episodes of the show. There's definitely a lot going on. I think because it's a very global song, and they have such a global audience that I think it kind of
just so people can actually know that it's 50% United States and then 50% around the world.
Our audience, our demographic.
That watches the channel, if anybody was interested.
So it's not all people from the U.S.
The more you know.
Do you, I mean, I know that you have things written down. Do you want to lead that, or I can start talking about what I saw, but do you want to kind of...
Well, I think that the idea was that there was this interesting conversation around that this was a huge hit from another country and then came over here to the US. And with us specifically having people that are just from the US, we're able to see that if they knew that.
Right. So there's a couple things. I believe it's these artists are Puerto Rican that were in the episode, but the song was a big hit in lots and lots of countries. So there was two sides to this, like we were talking about before, when it comes to wanting to have differing opinions, not everybody having the same thing. A lot of the show is about discovery and trying to even represent in this time period here in Los Angeles, what were people thinking about something? So this was a great example of you have people and they're not alone. Anyone that has an opinion on the show, just like in general life, if you have that opinion, a lot of people have that opinion, even if it's a small opinion. So you have people that didn't know that this was not just a Justin Bieber song. And there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, if that's what you knew, because at least in America, it became this huge hit because of Justin Bieber, or it's just the way that it was, and that's the only thing they knew. So that's an interesting thing to show. Hey, some people only knew it was a Justin Bieber song, and they were like, oh, I didn't know this. Interesting. Others that fully knew, even to the point of, I think it was Brandon, right away being like, it drives me crazy that people think this is just a Justin Bieber song.
But I think that happens a lot with a lot of cover or remix songs where people are only familiar with the most recent version or the most regionally accessible version. I just see that happen with so many songs. That's a Beatles song.
Well, this is fully an ongoing thing of like what is great. I think about, and we were speaking to it earlier. What's great about what people like about the shows, and then is that it actually does make them get, I guess, angry and their passion behind like what they love, and that somebody else maybe doesn't love it. They can't believe that, or that somebody doesn't know something. Like, do they know it? The idea that like teens don't know 90s things, like what are they talking about? Which we'll talk about in a second. But I think generally on our side, from our perspective, I think it would be that we would wish that people would find the social experiment side of it to be just more interesting than something they get so angry about. And something that is more of an interesting thing for us to all learn from one another of what we all know, what we don't know. Realize that you probably yourself have gone through it, like you're just talking about. Yeah. Like you probably at some point didn't realize that a cover, even right now, you might not realize that you love some song that's actually a cover of somebody that made it originally.
Maybe if you listened to Sample School, you would have found out some of that stuff.
I remember that for me. I remember the first time that I found out that I'll Be Missing You by P. Diddy was originally by The Police, and I was mind blown.
So this is back when you were a teenager.
Back when I was a teenager. Right. But like I remember having those moments where I got upset at myself in a way about being like, what?
And that's the thing. And that's where, look, people are going to say what they're going to say, and they're going to feel the way they're going to feel. But again, the show is all about opinions and championing that opinion. And I don't feel like there's something so horrible that somebody doesn't know something like that, especially when you watch the whole episode, which is another big thing that I saw a lot in the comments of Despacito, our Despacito episode, was people saying things like, stupid Americans, this song was big everywhere else, it wasn't just in America. Where if you watch the entire episode, we fully talked about that, and everybody was told that. And then some of the responses from the ones that didn't know was like, I didn't know that. I feel bad about that. Like all of that was there, yet there it is with all the thumbs up, where it becomes like, did you watch the whole episode? Did you, even if you did you realize this is part of the conversation that we have?
Sometimes there's really attractive thumbnails off to the right that are very distracting because there's like diamond fidget spinners, or there's a fidget spinner in Jack's Film's mouth, and you were I
think for the 5% that care and that watch, I would suggest if you are finding yourself getting that angry about something, maybe watch through the whole episode first, and then if you're still
and then sometimes you'll have legitimacy. Maybe we missed something. Maybe we legitimately did end up missing an entire angle, which does happen.
Which we will end up talking about on this podcast.
If you like this segment.
If you like this segment.
But that's even the point, to be able to talk about, we blew it in certain scenarios. Because I can understand that there's an element of us not harping on it in the exact way that I saw people feeling like we didn't really make it super clear, but we did talk about this, and it felt like a positive in the episode that this was something, and everyone was excited about the idea of different cultures and music, and either way, it was very interesting, and I love that episode.
And then last was just a fun, like, do teens know 90s music number 6, I believe, where we're starting to realize which ones you guys really love to watch of the different, like, formats inside of the formats, which you guys love seeing the teens and 90s.
Yeah, so that's going to probably be every month, probably,
and that this episode was just really interesting, that people got really into, like, being, like, fascinated, which me too, being a 90s kid.
That's what Do They Know It's all about. It is what lasts the test of time.
It was fascinating to see that, like, Ricky Martin, like, and even Vin La Vida Loca, not even being something fully known, but Ricky Martin, the name not being anything really that resonating with them. But what was hilarious is that everybody does know that song because of Shrek.
100%.
So you're one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I do know Ricky Martin, but Shrek, oh, man, that made it.
You know what's amazing?
So
That's just one of like a half a dozen songs that is known by this generation because of Shrek.
Oh, yeah.
Shrek is the musical tastemaker of the aughts.
Oh, like somebody once told me, right? That's Shrek too.
Somebody once.
That everybody knows that.
That's
so
also
well.
from Shrek, yes.
Yeah. But that's something that I think on our side, one of the most fascinating things that we love to see again and again is how, if they don't know it, if they do know it, where and why.
Like even the very first Do They Know It was people knowing Ace of Base the sign because of Pitch Perfect. Right. And that was why they knew it, not because of Ace of Base, at least most of them.
I have a second creative pitch because I really loved the no, this isn't for Instagram stories. But I loved the Try Not to Feel Old episode.
Hasn't come out yet, even when this comes out.
Well,
it'll come out tomorrow.
It's coming.
So you're giving your
teaser,
your
sneak preview.
More spoilers of this episode.
I have no sense of time or space, Benny. I see things. I don't know when anything is happening. But I loved that episode so much that we could play the Do Teens Know 90s music to the adults. Because I tell you, when nobody knows Ricky Martin or only knows an episode because of Shrek, I sat there being like, oh my God, I'm so old. None of these people know who all my artists are. And they don't feel that young. So that must mean I'm ancient.
Which will happen to everyone. Even if you are young right now, this is going to happen to you, and you won't even see it coming, and suddenly
you're gonna be like, in 20 years, there's gonna be a Chainsmokers. Like, do they know it? And people are like, that was Chainsmokers, and they'll be like, I don't know, never heard of this band.
The Chainsmokers, what kind of thing? They smoke cigarettes?
Anyway, that was my pitch. I wanted to play the 90s.
Before we move on, can I ask Tom some other questions?
Yes.
Now that since we have him,
I'm done with that segment. Let us know if you liked it.
do you like that segment? So
Tom, did you like that segment?
I like that segment. You killed it, Rafi.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
So Tom, I want to kind of hear direct from you, from your perspective, not now kind of working here more frequently, but from just as a reactor. Can you talk about the evolution of FBE from your perspective, from when you first came in and were filming in the old office to where it has evolved with all these people that now work here, and just like, what was that like from a talent perspective?
It wasn't our... Tom wasn't also...
Tom was not in the apartment.
I did
Tom
not.
was not in the apartment.
I was right after the apartment.
Yeah, Tom was not there in the
They're
apartment.
referencing the fact that the very first like Kids React episodes and the Lost, in action
Lost
figure
parodies.
stuff.
Oh,
Was
I forgot
early
about that.
teens episodes.
And early teens episodes were shot out of your 2-bedroom apartment. And
Benny's room.
Benny's room specifically. They painted Benny's room to be the sets, the walls, and Benny lived in the living room, and Raph had his bedroom. So Raph was special, maybe because he was the editor.
Yeah.
I was on a broken futon for years.
Wow.
Years.
Did you guys
So
get
people
that
would come to
security
their
deposit
apartment.
back? Okay.
We got some of it back, and I was shocked.
But anyways,
Like, this is a
we
That was the
digress.
first studio.
Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
Okay. What was the question?
The question was from a talent perspective, from a reactor perspective, from when you first came in and did the show, to then
What you thought about the company
and
back then.
then the
Okay,
evolution
yeah.
of seeing where it has grown into comparatively, like from day one, Teens React to Gangnam Style to now.
Oh my gosh. It honestly, it's been like a really crazy experience, especially like when I came in, it was just you guys, and then I think there was like one assistant like at the front desk, and that was like the whole thing. And it was like we went into the office, and it was like you guys had one room in this like big building. It was like a hallway, and then like the room where you filmed. And then just like throughout the years, you started like expanding into different rooms, and I'm like, okay, more people started showing up. It was really cool from like I got to know you when you were like so big. I feel like that like I got in on the ground floor. It felt like, or almost the ground floor, almost the apartment floor. But it has been like a really cool experience because you have like everyone that you hire at the company, I feel like is a really like accurate representation of kind of you guys, like your personalities, where it's like, okay, we're really nice people. We're hiring really nice, like good at their job people that are like want to make this like a better show. And I think that really shows, like, at least from behind the scenes, not necessarily as a reactor, but like getting to know everyone has been like really cool. Everyone's so passionate about what they do. So that part has been really cool, like watching you guys grow. We're in a whole new building now, which is like really odd to me.
Yeah, it's also like it's an interesting thing how the relationship that we are fortunate to have with you, because we were there throughout the years interviewing you, and anyone that was from the time period that we were still in the rooms, we end up developing like a legit friendship with, like in a totally different way, because basically, even though it was only for small pockets of time, imagine that you see people once a month, once every 2 months, but you're having just conversations about what they think, how they think about things
in a deeper way than you have with like your actual friends.
Like a
sometimes.
surface conversation. It's like, okay, no, like this is like what makes you tick. Like, what is your opinion on this like huge topic right now?
It's you hear those like stories about like how you can like fall in love with a stranger by like making direct like eye contact and asking like 20 or 30 questions. Like there's a weird bond.
I don't know about fall in love.
Yes. No. I'm not saying you guys are in love. I'm not ruling it out.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Everybody has fallen in love with Betty.
Tom, I do love you, Tom.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you 30 questions right now.
No, but it's a weird bond that you have by having kind of like intense conversations like face to face and just kind of like that relationship versus how maybe people more casually converse with like some of their friends.
And I think that's an interesting thing that I even love about how there are more producers now, and that is now spread across a lot more people that now have these types of closer relationships with so much of the talent here that I think is really exciting and great. And that general feeling of family that reactors kind of have, and I think it now is parlaying out to PAs and producers, and it's a whole kind of different vibe than it used to be because there are so many different shows and people that are now part of this.
It's cool because now like I remember when we were like I think it was like 2 years ago or something like that, but it was like we were just talking about like Disneyland. I was like, oh, I'm going to Disneyland tomorrow, and then you guys were like, we're going to Disneyland tomorrow. Let's hang out. So then we just like met up like with your mom and your sister were there, and you're like, okay, let's all hang out. We like went on what was it, like a haunted mansion, but it was just like it's cool. And now like now that the company's bigger and stuff like that, like I know a lot of reactors go out like to lunch and stuff with like PAs and stuff like that. It's like it's a really cool thing. Like we did Taco Tuesday last month, and I think it was like me, Brooklyn, and Chelsea, and then there was like 4 other like just staff members there just having tacos, just talking over tacos.
That's awesome. I did not know that. That is so cool.
It is cool.
I have my own personal question I want to ask Tom.
Okay.
So like I know some of your handles or your channels like Boston Tom, but you're in LA.
Oh man.
So when did Boston Tom become LA Tom?
Well, does he know where you're from?
I know you're from you're from Boston
Yes.
as well. This is gonna like come as a shock to everyone as I'm not actually from Boston.
Oh no!
No, I'm not Boston.
Boston Tom, stop the presses. Boston Tom is not from Boston.
Get out! It was bad to
Hashtag
happen
alternative
eventually.
facts.
I know, right? Oh, it's so bad. I'm gonna have like, oh, he's fake Tom. But I'm actually from Plymouth, so like where the Pilgrims landed. But
Oh yeah, that's close.
It's
Nobody
close
knows.
enough.
You're still from Boston.
I'm still from Boston. It just didn't have a nice Rafi does not take it.
Plymouth Tom. Right, YouTube right now. Change his channel to Plymouth Tom.
I've had actual comments be like, "Why isn't your name Plymouth Tom?" And I'm like, "Have you ever said Plymouth Tom? It just doesn't sound nice."
Okay, so Plymouth.
Yeah.
It still doesn't answer my LA Tom
Okay,
question.
yeah. Why? Well, I originally came out to Los Angeles for acting and stuff like that. But then, like, as I got more involved with you guys and like the new media space as a whole, like, I kind of fell in love with it. It was like a huge collaborative effort on every front, where it was like acting was really cutthroat and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm gonna make a channel that I can collaborate with like a ton of people and like build it up and still kind of represent like Boston. Like you got that like sense of it. Like I've done some Boston videos like in Boston. I've done like about Boston. And so I kind of just like everyone from Boston, you kind of carry that with you wherever you go. Like no matter what, you bleed Boston colors. Like that's just
It's
being
interesting.
from
You
there.
kind of got into the space for a similar reason that you guys got into the space, and that you were passionate about an industry, but when you were kind of confronted with the logistics and how many limitations there were in that space, you both kind of like ventured out on your own to make your own kind of content and try and
Yeah, that originally we were making feature films and the internet wasn't a thing yet 13 years ago, longer than that. But yeah, and then we kind of saw, at least at first we saw it as a place to put our stuff up and see if what was going to happen. Are we going to end up finding our way like other people, like only a couple back then, like The Lonely Island ended up becoming like huge on traditional media.
Imagine going on the internet and deciding I want to make web video and YouTube didn't exist. And that's where you were faced with back then.
Which we have great conversations with people like Rooster Teeth, like the people over there.
Timothy De La Ghetto or Wong Fu Productions, all of us that were
Early
around.
people that were like,
you wanna
God, yeah,
hear
we still had content on our websites that were just QuickTime files and our websites going down because we'd have a viral video and you couldn't service that at all.
if anybody's interested in the OG pre-YouTube YouTube podcast with Timmy DeLaGhetto or
Man, what about not even pre-YouTube? What about like early YouTube days podcast with like Joe Penna, trying to get Philip DeFranco to come and talk about early YouTube?
Guys, what are we trying to... We have to come up with a name for this. So this is the OG...
No, how many podcasts
it's not going to be
are you
a
guys gonna
series.
have
We
now?
can't do this as
like
a series.
8
It's going to be a
different
one-off episode.
I just want a lot of podcasts.
With whoever. Yes, but Benny.
Speaking of movies, Tom, you were in the movie that we made last year that hasn't
yeah.
come out yet.
Yeah. Oh, do they know the title yet, or
They should.
Okay, well, never mind.
I'm going to say it so we don't need to bleep it. So it's F the Prom is
Yeah.
the name of the movie. Hasn't come out yet. But Tom, you and Ethan James and Jeannie and Eric all have some small parts in it.
Yeah.
And you just get to play the biggest bully of all
biggest
time.
bully. You know, it was funny because I was talking to you like while we were on set, and I was like, man, you really like you threw all these reactors in. It's like so cool. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, why are me and Ethan James the bullies? And then-
Typecast, because that's what you're really like.
That's exactly what he said. He was like, well, I saw you and Ethan James, and I knew. And I was like, what?
I knew you could play these parts.
I know.
And you could play them really well.
But that actually, so that was also part of a time period that now, which we've talked about, is that everything straight up comes from the fan base being on Instagram and submitting through that when we put up the casting calls on
That
Instagram.
first year of the show was off of casting websites.
But yeah, like so, different people came from being.
It still wasn't
actors.
scripted.
yeah.
I want to put that out there.
Well, you're lucky, Tom, that you didn't have a lot of credits because that was the big thing. Was like anyone that
Yeah.
had legit credits, or we actually was like, oh, I've actually seen them in that. We would never bring
Then
on
we
the
thought
show.
that you would end up acting, and we didn't
Yeah.
want that. We only wanted people that didn't have a lot of credits so that they could actually give us their true reaction to things.
Now the show's big enough that it can kind of sustain kind of whatever, but
Yeah.
it's we like to go right to just like quote unquote people that are just people.
fans.
But you did, though we didn't find out until after the fact.
Yeah.
You had been in a short film with Lainey Lipson.
Oh my gosh,
Played
yeah.
scene in My Music, and we didn't know that
Yep.
at the time. And it was like, oh, you know Lainey, and that was
Yeah.
an extra connection.
It was just like really weird how that happened too, because we were in Michigan when you guys were starting up Teens React, and then like back then you said it was like off of a casting notice, and then I got like the casting notice, and I was like, oh, this sounds really cool. And you guys like you wrote me a note. You're like, we really like your look, like you should come in. But I was shooting with
I
Lainey.
really like your look. I
We
love
like your
that.
look. Well, I had
Did
like
we
I
really
had,
say
you
that?
know, I'll go back in my email. No, I had the cool skater dude, like that Justin Bieber swoop type of dude. No, and then like Lainey got My Music, and then just like brought me up. It was just like a weird how like
Things I know things come 360 like
Yeah.
that. Well, a fun fact that no one knows
Tidbit?
yet.
Is this a tidbit?
Another
Benny?
tidbit. So Lainey, who has been going to school in the UK,
Yeah.
is going to be back for the summer, and Lainey is going to be on Adults and College Kids React over the summer.
I better be in that same episode with her. Oh my gosh, because we still talk. Like I saw her a couple weeks ago. She came back and visited. Like we became like really good friends after that short film. And I feel like even me being here while she was doing My Music, I saw like a lot of her because she was doing like I don't know how many shows when you guys were doing My Music, like the Mosh, and like there was just so much content.
If you haven't watched My Music and you are part of the 5%, it's a big part of company history because FBE wouldn't have existed for longer. My Music allowed us to kind of start the company, and that's a sitcom.
Open up an office, yeah.
Yes, it's a sitcom that we made in, it's been a long time, guys, 2012 and 2013.
no way.
Try not to feel old.
But stars Adam Bush, you might know from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Grace Helbig and Jack Douglas, and Lainey, who we're just talking about. Great cameos from lots of fun people.
Yeah.
But check out that show.
No, it was really cool. It's just weird how stuff like that.
Tom, I hope you've enjoyed your time with us on this podcast.
Yeah,
Has this been enjoyable?
It's over. It's been really
Everybody at
enjoyable.
home now knows that Boston Tom is a giant lie, and it's actually Plymouth
But still
Tom.
go and subscribe
Wait,
to
I want-
Tom.
That's all
I
my
want you to
time.
go if you really want to make my
YouTube.com/Boston Tom.
day.
I'm Boston Tom.
Oh, sorry. YouTube.com/I'm Boston Tom.
If you really want to make my day, go over to Tom's latest video and put hashtag Plymouth Tom.
Oh my gosh. I'm ready for this spam right now. Oh man.
Wait,
Wait, that can be the thing. Plymouth Tom could be the thing in the comments. This is the end of the podcast.
There we go.
Hey.
That's that. If you want a shout out, potential shout out in the next podcast, leave hashtag Plymouth Tom. And I will know that you've actually listened to this whole episode. And we'll shout you out. We do have a bunch of shout outs to get through.
Are we gonna can we pass it around?
Yeah.
How are we
Heck
gonna
yeah.
do this? Oh, did you make
Those-
different?
Yeah, I
That's
made
the
some
shout
shout
outs?
outs. Here we go.
So these shout outs are based on hashtag SYTYCD from last podcast.
At the end of the first episode, we were talking about So You Think You Can Dance. And so Benny threw out that hashtag, and a bunch of you used it. So this isn't
Holy
everybody. This is
moly.
not a comprehensive list, but I tried my best to
Seems-
grab.
So start from John, and we'll move around, and then circle around.
Holy-
And then, John, you'll stop us when we're out of time.
Yeah, go.
Okay, Abatha Moyhand, Adam Binder.
Wait, what are
no,
you doing?
one at a
we're just gonna
time.
one
And then you stop us when we're out of time.
Okay.
Popcorn.
Everybody
Like
else
going
was
through.
on board with this.
Okay,
John.
my turn. A Dog the Boss.
Lisa Lockman.
And Bishu Slytherin.
Andrew Fernandez.
Angela Grace.
Animal Lover Gaming.
Innocent Anarchist.
Kisa Nisar.
Awesome Gaming Nerd.
Batman Gaming.
Beth Batgirl.
Brianna's World.
Buljong Money.
Cameron Clark. Nice and easy.
You skipped Tom.
Me. Oh, but
Cherry
don't-
Blossom.
You just took 2 of them now. Clash Swingcraft.
Zero 3.
Daisha Lynette 95.
Damn it, fails.
Daniel Pinarez.
David Lee.
Dr. Leaves.
Doctor what?
Elizabeth Fish.
Elias Chu.
Eric Heisenberg.
Aaron Lover 100.
Federico Ruiz.
Vila Kim.
Flash Fire.
Frederick 91.
I think we have to like skip around a little bit. Are we going through all
No,
these?
let's do
We're
it.
doing
This is the
We're
second
going.
episode.
Forever Young.
Good cracker.
Hadley Pruitt.
Harrison Newton.
Iron Flan.
It's gone.
Jay. That's it. Just Jay.
I know.
Jakai.
Guy.
Jackie.
You skipped Tom. What?
No, I got it. I said it was Jake Vincent.
Oh, sorry.
Jackie. Are you gonna say
Jackie
it?
Porco.
Okay. Joe Ferreira.
Jocelyn Lisseth.
Josie Rose.
Jorge.
Jorge.
Rose.
What's happening?
You skipped. Okay. It's okay.
Joy Walton.
Jura Photography.
Kaylin.
Karen Costa.
Carla Van Hester.
Kevin Wilson.
King Sass.
Kristen Angel.
Kurtzkin.
Lilliman Eric.
Luke Leia.
Mansur Ahmad.
Margaret Gardner.
Mari Cruz.
Mark Pennick.
Matthew Alexander.
Maureen O'Brien.
MC Gemstone.
Michaela A.
Mr. Flame. Miles Meener.
Nathan Friesen.
Nazia Sap.
Nicole Ramirez Vilches.
N. Manel N.
No More Silence XX.
Omar 130. It's all caps.
Pencil Assassin.
Rwanda Matar.
Rocker.
Rosy Cheeks.
Russ Brook.
I don't think that's the real
Russell
Russell
Westbrook?
Westbrook.
Russell
Really?
Westbrook.
Sarah Reeser.
Shady Minion.
Sherry B.
Shout out Junior.
Soy Zick Collin.
Starsu.
Sulima Fuentes.
Hella Farouk.
Thomas Paul Games.
Tiny Box Timothy.
Dromend 2.
Troyer.
Wild Her.
Exitas 7.
Z.
Z-Rock 3R.
Taylor Bublitz.
John Shawshank.
Erica Asana 47.
Did we skip David Lee?
I think he was already on YouTube, but David Lee gets another one.
All right.
Cameron Christ.
And Zachary Chong.
So thank you guys, and I'm so sorry if I did not shout you out and you happen to use that ridiculous SYTCD hashtag. But now you know the new one, hashtag Plymouth Tom.
Oh,
use
my
that
goodness.
either here on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, and I'll know you got to this part in the podcast, and I'll do my best to either reply to you or try and call you out in the next podcast.
Hey Tom, big thanks for doing this, and big thanks for over 5 years of your life.
Oh
Thanks for
my
sharing
gosh.
such a part of yourself
With
with us and with
and the
millions of
audience.
people, and
Yeah.
it's meant a lot to us this whole time. So thank you for being
go
you.
cry.
It-
No,
I-
it's been a pleasure.
It's very easy to be very guarded about yourself and your opinions and try and like people please or always say what you think is the most popular. And the fact that you especially, but almost all of our reactors are so open and do not have that guard up is I think a huge reason why people really like watching these shows. And it takes a lot of like guts and honesty, and I don't know what that X factor
It
is.
took
but
a lot of guts for me to say I'm Plymouth Tom, not gonna lie, guys. That took a lot out of me.
And now we made it a whole hashtag, and no one will ever not know.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching this again. Hopefully 5%. Hopefully you're still around for the second
Hashtag
one, guys.
5% family. Are you with us? Yeah, this is your show, guys. We desperately want to hear from you. If you liked stuff from this podcast or stuff we did in the first podcast, or you have ideas for what you wish we would cover in next week's show, please leave a comment. Let us know what you guys are most interested in, because whatever you leave makes my job easier. So please tell me what you love and what you hope we talk about. And hopefully you'll tune in next week.
Well, thank you guys for having me on the show. Very much appreciated. And bearing with my opinions for 5 years. I very much appreciate that as well.
Benny, are you good?
I think just like last episode, it's important to mention the Macarena here at the end. So remember the Macarena?
Oh, wait, I do want to end on something. You guys could fully shut me down. Stephanie on YouTube, do Benny and Roth still remember any of the spoiler string? Stephanie on
Oh
YouTube.
my! This is the best question of all time.
I mean, I have it in my phone.
No, like, are we?
Oh God.
Oh,
so intense. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. We are. The youth of the nation. No, we're not doing that. Bitey. Nothing else.
Yeah.
So it's like this and like this. Smooches. And I guess we're doing again.
Fail. We're not by each other.
This made my
Then
day.
and then? No.
Oh,
I guess we're
man.
doing the end. Fail.
They used to do this string that the fans added on to
Right.
every week for when they messed up the
It
spoiler
started with only a
series
few
that you guys
things,
did.
and then
What's
yeah.
amazing is occasionally we would run into a fan who would run up to us and then do the entire
No
string
way.
beginning to end.
Yeah.
And one of the things we added to the string was from one of those fans that told us to add it in person.
Really? Oh, that's actually
Pretty
so
awesome.
cool.
Anyway,
So was that worth it? Are we like over time now? Thanks
probably.
to that.
Oh, we're
3
way
hours
over.
over time
The
now.
audio for this is definitely going to be over an hour. We'll try and keep the video still under. But yeah, there you go.
On that note,
hope you enjoyed it.
Never forget the Macarena, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.